It can only be attributable to human error.
He meddled in things that you people. He meddled in things. He meddled in things.
Where will we go next? This phantom from another time.
No one, Mr. Mulder.
That's it, man. Game over, man. Game over.
That is one big pile of shit.
Hi, I'm Alex Kaiju,
I'm Jasmine with
I'm Eli Watson.
and you're listening to...
Cryptid.
Campfire.
Woo!
Oh, yeah. Woohoo! Hey, everyone, and welcome back to Cryptid Campfire. It's been, 6-7 weeks since the world ended with the quarantine, and we're all in limbo right now.
Yeah.
But I think we have something special that's going to bring us out of this quarantine hell that we're living in day to day as hours melt away.
Yeah, I'm excited about this one because it's more cryptid than the things we've been talking about in the past. You know, our recent episodes have been hoaxes or real animals that are thought to be extinct, with
Wait.
the thylacine and the drop bears and
So the drop
everything
bears
else.
aren't real?
Oh?
Listen to our episode.
Is Snallygaster what is extinct?
Yes. So today we're talking about an actual cryptid, something that is fun to talk about. We're going to Japan, and I had to do a little Googling because I learned a little bit about the vocabulary that's used when talking about regions in Japan because this word prefecture kept coming up, and I didn't know what that meant. But it's just, it's a governmental body of Japan, so it's bigger than a city or a town or a village, and Japan is divided into 47 of them. So if you hear that word prefecture, that's what that means.
So is it like a province or state?
I guess.
Yeah, that's a loose term for I guess. Yeah, it's just a prefecture next to the other prefecture, but next week I gotta go the one all the way at the top.
Yeah. Oh, I gotta get to work. It's 3 prefectures over.
Oh, God.
But the area that is most famous for the highest concentration of sightings for what we're talking about today is in Mikata in Hyogo. And the creature that we are talking about today is, who wants to do the honors of pronouncing it?
The Tsuchinoko.
Yes, the Tsuchinoko.
Tsuchinoko.
Found in the deep remote mountains of Honshu, Shikoku, and Kyushu Islands. I'm gonna have a lot of fun with all the words that we're saying today. All of these Japanese names are fun to pronounce and actually can be pronounced.
I feel like Japanese is one of the easiest languages we've had to try to, say on the show before.
Yeah.
It's definitely easier than German.
Russian
Or any of those African languages.
Yeah.
Whew.
I've been training my whole life watching nothing but anime for this one moment to be able to say Tsuchinoko correctly.
But I did learn something else interesting too, because the Tsuchinoko has been seen by a wide range of people even up to the present day, but it's usually spotted deep in the mountains and the woods, far from civilization. Turns out, even though when you think of Japan, you think of all of those really busy, bustling cities and the lights and the neon and stuff like that. But Japan is actually an intensely mountainous country with development occurring in the heavily populated coastal plains. So around 90% of the population occupies only around 10% of the land area.
Whoa. Sounds like good Squatch territory to me.
Yeah.
And that's where we're going today, folks.
The land of the
right
rising sun. We're looking for Bigfoot.
Yeah, you didn't buy your ticket? You didn't buy your ticket? The flight leaves in an hour.
What?
Yeah.
What?
Just kidding. Traveling's not safe now. We're not actually going to Japan. Hypothetically going to Japan to talk about the Tsuchinoko. Now, somebody, please tell me, what does the Tsuchinoko look like?
It's long, it's black, and it's a snake. But
I was going to say, it's traditionally a snake, sometimes brown to mask in with the forest ground.
Mm-hmm.
But sometimes they, like you said, they're all black. Even their eyes are sometimes
black,
described
yeah.
as being all black, like a doll's eyes.
Yeah, and so it more or less looks like a regular snake, except for its big old pot belly in the middle.
Ooh, he's a big chonky snake.
Yes, and according to some reports, it has an bright orange underbelly. I don't know if you guys got that. I think that's kind of interesting, because it can't, roll over on its back and hide. It would be highly visible that way. So.
I mean, yeah, it's funny to think that you'd have a snake that is more or less just the size of a regular, I don't know, 3 to 4 feet. I want to say people usually report it as being.
So it's 30 to 80 centimeters long, my friend. So that comes in at just under 3 feet.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, dang. I was going to say, was it centimeters? That always trip me up.
Yeah.
But then it's got the big fat belly, and it's just a big snake. But sometimes it's been known to bite people, and we have reports of being highly poisonous and venomous at the same time.
Yes, that's right.
It's I found the one website I found, it described it as being, it's so poisonous that it has venom-filled teeth.
Oh, dang, dude.
I don't think it works that way.
I also got that its venom was the strongest of any kind in the world.
Whoa.
So you're most likely going to die if you get bit by this snake with venom-filled teeth.
This big chongus.
Mm-hmm. So its mouth resembles a grin. I guess people who have seen it say that it's kind of like smirking. And its eyes are described as being mesmerizing, almost like a hypnotic type of thing. Like if you stare into them, like, you're just assured by them. I did read, however, that it is supposedly like a peaceful creature, and it's not going to go out specifically looking to attack someone. It rather just defends itself against aggressors. So.
Well, I got something that seems a little contradictory to that, to where it's kind of a deceitful snake. If you want to get a little weird with it, some reports have the Tsuchinoko actually talking to people, and that it's, very fond of lying to people.
Mm-hmm.
It's interesting because I had found, they say, the Tsuchinoko, it doesn't, do the typical, like a snake. It has a series of chirps and almost like squeaks.
Yeah.
So you see the big fat snake rolling around. It's like,
yeah.
But apparently they can talk.
Yeah, it mimics human voices and is apparently able to converse with people.
Yes. And that's not the only thing it does with its mouth.
Oh.
No. It's able to swallow its own tail and roll around like a wheel.
I'm not gonna lie, I thought they had us in the first half with that one.
I wouldn't say that it really swallows its own tail. It kind of just like bites its own tail. It connects the two ends of itself so that it can roll across the ground.
It's in there deep, man.
Oh, dear.
You gotta make sure the connection's secure.
And not only that, but it also jumps very high. It leaps off the ground and does this crazy thing that I thought was only possible in video games, which is a double jump. Like, while it's in midair, it can jump again and propel it even further.
Yeah, so I was reading that a single jump is approximate to about 3 feet. And so from that 3 feet height, it's able to propel itself another 3 feet above, reaching a full attack range of about 6 feet up in the air. So it doesn't matter if you're tall. It will leap up there and wrap itself around your neck.
But also, it's like a bowling ball, like attached. With
that's right.
That's probably how the double jump works, because you figure it bites its tail. They say, I think, to get momentum, it'll roll down a hill or a mountain, go into the air, and while it's spinning, the big belly goes around, gathers momentum, and it huffs it again in the air, giving itself a double jump.
Mm-hmm.
There you go.
So, aside from those crazy abilities. The way that it usually travels across the ground is in a straight line. So instead of going side to side like most other snakes, it does the thing where it undulates in down. So it like scrunches itself up and then moves forward, scrunches itself, moves forward, and everything like that.
Did we already talk about what the name means? What Tsuchinoko?
We did not.
Oh, I was gonna say, I think we got distracted by the beautiful mountain range of Japan.
Yes.
But yeah,
so
what's Tsuchinoko mean? Do you have any ideas?
Oh,
Well,
I know what
I've got it in my notes here, but I'm waiting to see who's gonna say it.
It means child of hammer.
Or child of dirt.
Or, as I read on the Cryptid wiki, Dirt Child.
Dirt child.
Which I kind of like, maybe I'll subtitle this episode Tsuchinoko, Dirt Child.
Yeah.
Dirt child. Or like Dirt Kid,
Yeah, there you go. Just keep
Like
twisting it.
It's like a Harmony Korine movie. Dirt Kid.
Yeah.
Known by some other regional names too, such as Nozuchi or Bachihebi or Tsuchihebi, and many others. My Japanese isn't strong, but it is fun.
I was gonna say, could you guys find where the translation like comes from? Because I don't, because the child of dirt, like, that makes sense. It's like a fancy term for a snake, But
Yeah.
child of hammer, I don't quite understand what that means. I wasn't sure if.
Well, the only thing that I came across was there is a hammer that I believe is called a Tsuchi something. Let me see if I can look it up real quick. I watched it in one video. I think it's a Tsuchi hammer.
Maybe. The Tsuchinoko came into being when a regular black snake was smashed by a hammer, creating the big belly.
it swelled up like a balloon.
Yeah, that's
man.
the name.
That's possible.
I was gonna say, I picture a Tsuchi hammer as just being a regular hammer, but in the middle is just a big giant round belly for no reason.
So, as I just shared my legend with you guys, are there actual legends surrounding the Tsuchinoko?
Well, the Tsuchinoko has been present in Japanese folklore throughout history. Their likenesses have been found on pottery dating back to the earliest civilization on the islands. And the first documented account of the Tsuchinoko is from the 8th century. They are mentioned in the Kai from the year 712, which is the oldest... What was that?
Sorry, could you say that again?
The Kojikai from the year 712, and is the oldest known book in existence on ancient Japanese history.
Ooh.
What exactly does it say? I don't know.
Yeah, I tried to find that as well. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what the Kojiki says.
Ooh.
And we already kind of mentioned the fact that it can mimic human voices and kind of like talk and converse with people. And it's mostly portrayed in folklore as a mischievous creature, which has a natural tendency for telling lies and confusing travelers.
Guys, I just came up with a great idea. This is totally random and off topic, but I thought of We Are Siamese, if you please. But picture two Tsuchinokos coming out of the forest to talk to you and going, "We are Tsuchinoko if you don't know."
That's amazing. Oh, gosh.
And they can be like hitting their bellies like a taiko drum to make the beat.
Yeah. There you go. I'll throw this in real quick. I got one description of it having 4 little tiny arms.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I read one source that claimed for it to have legs, but that doesn't seem to be the overall consensus of people who've seen it. I mean, it is possible that there's tiny legs underneath that we can't see from above, kind of like, a bug or something like that, but
they always describe it as a snake, and snakes don't have legs. Yeah. Otherwise it wouldn't be a snake. But
you already perfected the legend. You got a big fat snake. You don't need to add legs to it.
Do either of you know how to keep a Tsuchinoko quiet, though?
Is it similar to a jackalope?
I don't know. I wasn't on the jackalope.
Oh,
episode.
yeah, that's right. In order to catch a jackalope, you have to set out some whiskey for it. So do you have to set out some alcohol for the Tsuchinoko?
Yeah, man. They got a great fondness for alcohol.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, not only do they possess the ability to mimic, man's ability to speak, they also mimic man's ability to get wasted.
Hey.
Yeah, Stefan's got some
seems
of
to-
that Japanese whiskey at home right now.
Ooh, we'll break it open when quarantine ends and we go Tsuchinoko hunting.
No, he already broke it open.
No, Stefan. He's like, it's
talking
okay,
about?
I am Tsuchinoko. But that seems to be a good way is if you do encounter a Tsuchinoko, if you have any alcohol, they seem more than willing to take it and be happy and let you pass on without telling you any lies or biting you.
Mm-hmm. Alex, do you have any other legends?
Just mostly the love for alcohol, which is pretty prevalent in certain cryptid stories, which is pretty funny.
Yeah.
We find that theme of just like random cryptids that just for some reason love alcohol.
And dairy.
Yeah, right. Ice cream and burgers, Darren burgers.
So, as we move into talking about some sightings, I have a question for you guys because when I was doing my research, it seemed like any sighting I could find was only from the year 2000. Now, there's supposedly sightings of Tsuchinoko for years and years and years over the past 1,000 years or whatever, but most of the ones I found all happened in May or June of the year 2000. Is that succinct with what you guys found?
I got one from 2001.
Lay it on
But-
us.
No,
I do have two before that, but the majority, I have one from 1969 and one from 1994, but the majority of stories I found all happened in May or June of the year 2000, which I think is interesting.
It is interesting. And I think it all stems from one central kind of thing.
Area?
But lead us away, Jasmine. Lead the way.
So the first couple I have are really short, really basic, sweet and to the point. June of 1969, M. Takutaki supposedly captured a Tsuchinoko with a forked stick and kept it for a couple of days before deciding to eat it.
Ooh.
And he reported that it had a double backbone.
Whoa.
And
That's how it gets
then-
the double jump.
Yeah. And then June of 1994, so again, these are different years, but they're still in June, May and June. June 1994, 73-year-old Kazuaki Noda was cutting grass with his wife when they came across a huge snake with a thick body like a beer bottle and a head described as being like that of a tortoise.
A tortoise.
And then that's when I go into my 2000 sightings. Another short one, we've got a 90-year-old farmer, Suji Tanaka, who was out looking for bamboo shoots when she happened to cross two metallic-colored snakes with what she described as tails like rats.
Mm.
Interesting. Did they want any alcohol?
I don't think she offered.
And is that all you got?
That is not all I got, but I'm going to pass the torch to one of you because you guys probably got the story from May of 2000 about the woman or about the guy who found one, injured it, and then a lady found it later. Do you have that story?
No.
Well,
There's
all right.
just the one where I just have the it looks like the bare bones. Let me read what what I have here. Maybe we can go through it. An elderly woman spotted what she thought was a Tsuchinoko by a stream. Instead of showing anyone or investigating, she buried the thing. Eventually, word got out that the woman had done what she had done, so the local government sent out a team to dig it up and try to get the remains to a local university for examinations. And what I have here says the professor who analyzed the thing said it may indeed have been a Tsuchinoko, but scientifically speaking, it was a kind of snake.
Yeah, so that's supposedly connected with an earlier sighting of a farmer in Makata who saw a snake-like creature with a face like the famous Japanese cartoon cat, Doraemon, who
Ooh.
for some reason doesn't have ears, which I think is funny. So this cartoon cat doesn't have ears, which makes me think that the snake wouldn't have ears. But I just think that's a really fun detail and very interesting. But they saw this snake-like creature make its way across his field. And so he also injured it with a farming implement, but it was able to escape into a nearby stream. And then a couple days later is when 72-year-old Hideko Takeshima found the snake's body lying by the side of the stream, and she buried it. So yes, she buried it. Important the find might be, upon digging it up, Yoshi municipal government officials came out to look over her find, and they forwarded it to Kawasaki University of Medical Welfare to be examined. And then the professor, who is Kuniyasu Sato, I'm not sure what kind of A that is, he said what you said, specifically speaking, scientifically speaking, it was some kind of snake.
Mm-hmm. That's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Huh.
And that was, when did you say that happened?
That also happened May of 2000.
I read about the same event in a different way, but there was a reported body found in the year 2000 of a Tsuchinoko, so I'm assuming that this might be the same incident. There was no other details with that report that I found. It was just reported body found in the year 2000.
Very detailed. Well,
I was going to say, I might have a bullet point for that on the one website I have for the 2001 where they found it. Did you get anything on that, Jasmine?
Are we talking about 2000 or 2001? Because there
2001, because that's what you said, right, Eli?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I was talking about the event that just happened in 2000. I have details on what happened in 2001.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, cool. I was confused.
Yeah, it is a little confusing because a lot of the details are the same. It's a lot of, we found this thing and we turned it in for examination. But there was one more sighting that I wanted to mention, also from the year 2000, in June 15th of 2000. 82-year-old Mitsuko Arima saw Tsuchinoko swimming along a river in Yoshi. He said, "I was surprised. I just pointed at it and asked, 'Who are you? Who are you?' It didn't answer me, but it just stared." I think that's interesting because it tells me that she assumed it was a Tsuchinoko and expected it to talk back to her, but it didn't.
Mm-hmm.
She said, "It didn't answer me, it just stared. It had a round face and it didn't take its eyes off me. I can still see the eyes now. They were big and round and it looked like they were floating on the water. I've lived over 80 years, but I've never seen anything like that in my life." Now, another interesting fact that I want to point out about all of these stories that we've told thus far. It's all old people. Everyone who sees the Tsuchinoko is 70 years old or older. 70, 80, 90. Isn't that weird?
It's a reverse Manegishi, where it's only young people can see it, but now it's only old people can see it.
Or it's like an imaginary friend, to where, like, you know, as a kid, everyone has imaginary friends. Then when you get older, like, oh, you grow out of them. Well, when you hit the prime age of 70 or 80, you start growing into a world where you can see monsters on a daily basis, and no one else can. But your eye vision has changed from how old you are. You see another dimension on top of the already present one.
So this 2001 thing that we're about to discuss, I'll let you guys tell the story, but
Yes.
it does seem... Actually, I'll just let you talk and see what you say, because in the research I found, there's either two instances, there's two cases, or one of them has been misreported or misquoted or something like that. So tell me what you have, and then I'll go from there.
This comes from the Japan Times. 2001, a skiing town, more specifically Mikata, in the Hyogo Prefecture, claimed to have found the Tsuchinoko. So the Tsuchinoko was supposedly captured on June 6th, 2001, and it was placed in a display. So the article says, first a cage, it's placed in a cage, but then they built a special little plastic box for it on the patio of a souvenir shop. The creature was all black, including its tongue, and it was thick and short. And supposedly, when they brought it into town hall, people reported hearing it squeak. However, the journalist does make note that it was only 70 centimeters when they caught it, and is now, supposedly, by the time of the writing of the article, which I think was only like a week later, that it was well over a meter in length.
What does
And
that
after-
translate to?
So like it grew a foot in the course of a week.
Okay.
In the sense that it was being exaggerated.
Okay.
So,
Gotcha.
supposedly this Tsuchinoko was in the public eye for about a week, and it got tired. That's what they said, and so they said that they might send it to a local university for DNA testing if it recovered. So, another note: this town, Mikata, or other towns in this region, have had similar instances with the Tsuchinoko before. So I don't think this is anything to really go nuts over or be like, ha, see, it's real, because I think it just might be a publicity stunt to bolster, people visiting that town.
Yeah. There was, who was the guy? So the government official who was interviewed for this article, his name was Toshikazu Miyawaki, and he said that even if it turns out not to be a Tsuchinoko, it might be a new snake never before found in the world. I hope this snake will be the first such species recognized in the 21st century. Now, I also found that article on the Japan Times website, and I did a search seeing if there would be a follow-up article, and I wasn't able to find anything. So I do not know if they ever did send it for testing, or if it was just like, it just kind of faded away. The story wasn't,
It wasn't interesting enough anymore, because there's always kinds of crazy stuff in Japan happening.
Yeah, the hype must have died down. So that's one of the things that happened in 2001. But I also read on a website that there was another Tsuchinoko and turned in by a group of loggers to the Japan Snake Center in Gunma in 2001. But that was found to just be a common grass snake. And there's been a couple other people to turn things in that end up just being snakes. Sometimes a rat snake, and then
Oh, I have one that was supposedly found, a body recovered in 2004.
Oh, okay, that's a year I haven't heard yet in my research.
Yeah,
Tell me.
so this came from some Japanese website, and I had to use Google Translate to translate the page. It was
That's
all in hardcore Japanese, which I don't speak, and Google Translate was having some issues. You can always tell when you're reading the sentence and it doesn't make any sense. You're like, But anyway, so it had pictures I've actually seen on other websites as well. It's basically just this, it has a snake-like head, a black body, it's pretty thick, and there's no real separation between its head and its body. It's just kind of one long, kind of looks like an old turd. And then at one point it's siphoned off, and it's shrinks down to this tiny little tail. And so the page, what the Google translated page kept saying, that the snake had piglets attached to it. So I'm not entirely sure
What that means.
what that means.
Or
but
are they
I'm
trying
thinking-
to say that it had babies attached to it?
I'm thinking it has something to do with the tiny tail. Because it didn't look like, it wasn't a slow taper. It was this big chunky turd, and then squished down to a tiny, tiny thing.
Mm-hmm.
But that kept going for a while, so it was like part of its body. And this was like a fossilized thing. It wasn't like a fresh body. But
Weird.
it was all black. So
What a load.
yeah, that's what I got for as far as studies go for that.
Yeah, that's about all the sightings and evidence I have as well.
Mhm.
Do you have anything else, Alex?
I think that's about it. Is that we talked about the location, where you could find these chonky boys at, what these snakes are, a little bit of legends about them, their drinking habits, which are slightly unhealthy.
Specifically, I mean, did you have any more sightings to discuss? Because we've still got government response and explanation to talk about.
Oh,
and
yeah.
Stuff.
I think that's kind of the basis. Is what the sightings you guys had. Someone sees one,
But
maybe someone having one, and then it gets lost.
but I think there's somebody out there who's like, the Tsuchinoko is real. I'm collecting all the data on it. Like, it's out there, bro. There's somebody out there who's like that, and I need to find them.
Yeah.
So my quest with the Tsuchinoko is not over yet.
Mm-hmm. Well, the government's quest is not over for the Tsuchinoko either. There have been many expeditions and rewards offered for live Tsuchinoko captures in response to the persistent sightings in Makata and other areas in Japan that have had sightings. So in 1989, which I think is interesting because apparently a surge of sightings, but I wasn't able to find any information from that year because everything was in the year 2000. But anyways, in 1989, Makata made headlines because the former mayor announced a reward of 330 square meters of land to any person who could capture a Tsuchinoko.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Giving away the land.
And then in 2000, the town of Yoshi offered 20 million yen, which, according to Google, is equal to $187,421.22 for us Americans. Really? However, no one collected the reward. And then in 2008, in Niigata, the reward was 100 million yen. So $937,100 for a live Tsuchinoko. But the people criticized that it was just a publicity scam because they didn't think the city would ever really have to pay that out, which they didn't. I'm sure we would have heard about it if they had.
Yeah.
But Tsuchinoko hunts are a thing as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they're like sightseeing things, right?
Yeah, they have annual events in Makata to look for the snake in surrounding wilderness, but the expeditions have proved fruitless so far, and they've actually been criticized by like hardcore Tsuchinoko people.
They're out there, dude. They're out there.
There's an author of a book called Catching the Illusory. Wait, actually, I need help pronouncing this word. Illusory, Illusory. Illusory,
Yeah,
is that how you say that?
Illusory, yeah, I think you got it.
Catching the Illusory Tsuchinoko. His name is Naoki Yamaguchi, and he wrote this book, and he said that these searches don't do much good because the number of sightings from people on these searches is barely 1% of the total sightings. He blames this mostly on the search party's failure to delve very deep into the wilderness and cites people who venture deep into the mountains, such as avid hikers, mountain stream fishermen, and loggers are the most common type of people to have a sighting.
Yeah, see, I told you, there's an expert out there, and he's got a book, and I'm gonna find him.
You gotta link up.
Hallucinary.
What?
I was trying to pronounce that word.
You mean
There's no N. But yeah, the expeditions are big business. They draw in people in that tourist yen.
Mm-hmm. That's kind of like those drop bear ones, right?
Mm-hmm.
because you can go search for the drop bear, but it's like really you're just going hiking in nature for an exorbitant amount of money.
That's true.
They should have Tsuchinoko festivals, like the Hodag Festival or Mothman Festival.
Yeah,
It's just
that
like
would
a
be
big
so
once
sick.
a year celebration of these fat snakes.
Do you think, I'm just going to throw this theory out there real quick.
Do it.
Do you think that the Tsuchinoko could be, I don't know what those snakes are, what species of snake it is that just swallows their entire food whole, or is that all snakes?
I think that's a lot of snakes.
That's
Yeah,
most snakes,
so-
yeah.
Do you think it could be misidentified snakes that have just like eaten, I don't know, something pretty big, causing that bulge?
It is a possibility that it's just a food baby.
Right. I don't know.
I mean,
That's
yeah,
just throwing that out
it's
there.
funny when you think about it, because that's basically just a snake that's been fed. It's just you see a snake with a big, because if it got prey, and then they break it down over I think like a week or two.
Mm-hmm.
The only problem with that claim is the fact that the Tsuchinoko is still said to do the leaping, and a regular snake can't do that. And it also complicates the sounds that it makes. Oh, this is super random, but I just remembered I forgot to say earlier that the Tsuchinoko gives off an odor similar to a chestnut tree.
Oh,
Super random.
interesting.
I forgot to say that, and I wanted to because I thought it was interesting. Chestnut tree
I
flowers.
wonder what a
Anyways,
chestnut tree smells.
so the Tsuchinoko is said to make all of these different crazy sounds, and a regular snake doesn't do that. However, the sounds could very well be from other insects, birds, or wildlife that's in the vicinity and have been mistakenly attributed to the snake. So you see a snake that just ate, and you hear sounds from different animals, and you think that this crazy looking snake is what's making the noise, but it's actually not.
And then it double jumps.
Yup.
Yeah.
But I also got.
What if it's the animals in its belly making the noises?
Whoa.
You know what? That's possible. I didn't think about
Whoa,
that.
that's
they do
crazy.
swallow things whole.
Who knows? Maybe it swallowed a bird or two whole, and they're inside chirping away, and people are like, "Dang, that is a noisy mythological creature."
That's actually a really good point that I didn't read about or think about. That's pretty
crazy.
valid.
Wild. I did get the latest internet craze of the Tsuchinoko began in 2017. Did you guys talk about this yet?
The meme. We didn't talk about the meme, but we also didn't talk about the other things that the Tsuchinoko could be. Such as
what meme? I'm talking about Tumblr and photoshopped images.
That became a meme.
It became a meme? Oh,
Tsuchinoko Real.
Oh, okay. All right. So we're going back to all right, we'll get there. Okay. We're talking about what the Tsuchinoko, what it do, dude.
I also read that it could be just a misidentification of a blue-tongued skink.
Oh,
skink. I like the name.
They are capable of enduring difficult conditions, and they're easy to keep as pets and are kept by a lot of people in Japan. So it's argued that escaped specimens could be the culprits. So we've got another frogman scenario on our hands.
Yes. The only thing, maybe. See, they kind of look like a snake. Let's see. How's this?
Oh.
Yeah, they do. But they have legs.
They have legs.
Tiny baby legs.
So
and they're
that's
also not
where
black.
This is
They're more
true.
brown. Although the little legs are black, but you figure if they're crawling through the muck and the mire of, the forest.
Right.
And then there's the possibility that it's just an unidentified species of snake that hasn't been defined by science yet. Perhaps semi-aquatic, because I think I also neglected to mention that they're fond of water when we were talking about the description and behavior. But like a water moccasin.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting. So what you're saying is the Tsuchinoko is real.
Tsuchinoko Real.
Tsuchinoko.
So yes, we're going to talk about Tsuchinoko Real right now.
Yeah, what is this? Tell me. I'm not
Unless
sure.
everyone has anything more about possibilities. Tsuchinoko Real began in 2017 with a Tumblr post. Where's it at? Yes, so somebody photoshopped an image. It's like pretty good Photoshop, and it's honestly kind of funny. Just the image by itself of a Tsuchinoko. It's like the corner of someone's house, right? And there's cats all over this picture, and they're all staring at this snake in the middle of the floor, but it's got that big pot belly. And so someone was like, oh, look, it's the Tsuchinoko, and it's real, and it's in my house. And I guess that spread like wildfire. And it's become a meme since then. I don't know, Jasmine, I feel like has more information on that aspect of it.
Not really. I mean, it kind of just became a meme, just like anything else becomes a meme. It was one funny post that really caught on, and then people made like a big deal out of it, and they like made dedicated Tumblr accounts to it, and people just picked up on it.
That is a pretty funny picture.
They made emojis somehow, so like you could text and tweet a Tsuchinoko emoji. I don't know how they got that, but yeah, it was just a meme, and the catchphrase was Tsuchinoko Real.
Hell yeah.
It's like the night the night crawlers, you know, to where you see them everywhere because there's just like Tumblr fan art about night crawlers.
Mm-hmm.
And you're like, oh, this looks cool, and then you turn, you know, it was just a random cryptid that somebody picked up and was like, oh, look at these guys, and they spread like wildfire, you know, and someone just took a picture of here's a fat snake and the cats, and Tsuchinoko Real, and it's this worldwide phenomenon, you know?
Yeah.
You never know what's gonna land.
There's a lot of fan art of like the Fresno night crawlers, which is like really cute, like it's adorable.
Mm-hmm.
It's that kind of style, and in modern
They wear
days,
little scarves.
yeah, and in modern times, the Tsuchinoko is also kind of presented not as evil or scary as Westerners might see a snake, but almost always made out to be cute, cuddly, benign, and friendly creatures in pop culture.
There's even a Pokemon based on it.
Yeah, that's right.
It's his name is Dunsparce.
Yep, or in Japanese, it's called the Nokochi, which is an anagram of Tsuchinoko, which I guess that's what I've been led to believe. But now looking at it, it does not have all the same language.
Probably.
Yeah.
It's probably like a pun or something. Like if you rearrange the words for Tsuchinoko, you get a different sound. It's just like, because like especially with Pokemon, I think we've gotten this before, but like when a Pokemon name, it's just like it's 3 puns in one half the time, or it's a reference to something else that's just absurd and like language specific.
It's probably an anagram in Japanese,
Mm-hmm.
so doesn't matter how you translate it in English. It's still not. It's like poetry in a different language, you know. When you translate it, it doesn't.
You're like, I don't understand.
Yeah.
But yeah, dude, Dunsparce is awesome. He's a little tiny. He's like yellow with little blue spots. He's got tiny little face. Have you seen a picture of what he looks like, Jasmine?
No, I didn't look it up.
Ooh, look up Dunsparce. We got to get you into Pokemon.
Honestly, like, I should be into Pokemon. I don't know why I was never introduced to it when I was a kid, because I feel like it was something I would enjoy. Because, I mean, I was obsessed with Neopets, so that's basically kind of like Pokemon, right? I don't know.
Pokemon Light. Neopets.
What's it called?
Dunsparce. It's Dunsparse, I believe.
He's got wings.
Yeah, he's got little tiny baby wings.
That's cute.
I think they say that it might be a reference to Quetzalcoatl, the Mayan snake winged god. Because it's not just the Dunsparce reference; it's a reference to like a old myth too from like ancient Aztecs.
Mm-hmm. They also use the Tsuchinoko in a bunch of other like pop culture and merchandise. I mean, he's in video games, commercials, And he, like, gets candy made in the shape of him. Like, they have Tsuchinoko-shaped candies, and they make Tsuchinoko rice cakes and wine. So, that's fun times.
Yeah, he's like a little. He's the best little like mascot because he draws from mythology.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Like a Jack Link's beef jerky. They use Sasquatch as their mascot.
But yeah, the Tsuchinoko shows up in a couple of other things as well, right?
Not that I have. What do you got for me?
It shows up most recently in Monster Hunter World, that video game where you hunt monsters, and so they made a killable Tsuchinoko.
Yeah.
That I think you
Monster Hunter's cool too, because you play like a human in like a fantasy world, and you fight monsters that range from like your size to like the size of a building, and you have to like sometimes climb on them. And once you defeat like a big dragon, you can make weapons out of its teeth and armor.
Mm-hmm. So you can do that with the Tsuchinoko now as well. You can kill it and use its teeth for armor.
He also shows up in Metal Gear Solid too.
Yeah. I was hoping you would have more info on that. I don't really play Metal Gear Solid, so.
Yeah, Metal Gear Solid. It's military espionage, and it's like you play a secret agent kind of guy, soldier who sneaks into military bases, and in one of the games you get an option to hunt a Tsuchinoko because you get dropped in, I think, like Vietnam or somewhere. You get, and that it takes place, I think, in the 60s, 70s. You get dropped off in like the Vietnam War, and you can kill a Tsuchinoko as like a little Easter egg, and I think you get like an item and it has money on it. And then I think that carried over into Metal Gear Solid 4 to where there's the Tsuchinoko that you can hunt down again.
Oh, whoa, that's kind of cool.
Kind of like Red Dead when you hunt down the Sasquatches.
Oh yeah, or I found a jackalope in someone's backyard once.
Yeah.
That was pretty nuts. But and it also shows up in Castlevania.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Castlevania. They draw. Castlevania is awesome because you can learn a lot about different cultures, like myths and legends, because they take everything and make them into monsters. Because they got the Tsuchinoko that's as an enemy. Bigfoot shows up at one point in one of the games.
That's cool.
There's the Mothman shows up at one point. I think they have chupacabras, and then there's always like werewolves, Frankenstein, Dracula shows up. Werewolves or vampires, werewolves, and even like Greek mythology monsters show up. It's cool. It's if you're looking for fun inspiration for like cool monsters and stuff. Castlevania bosses are great.
But that's all I have on the Tsuchinoko's pop culture fame. It's actually pretty popular, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. He's big in Japan.
Well, yeah.
So are we ready to see who he goes into the Coliseum with today?
Wait, we gotta ship... Why is everyone shipping Flatwoods and Mothman? They should be shipping Flatwoods and the Tsuchinoko. Because they're both big in Japan.
And the Flatwoods monster can wear the Tsuchinoko as like a scarf, kind of like wear him around him when he's cold.
Yes. But yes, Jasmine, we are more than ready. I'm excited to see how this comes out.
Yes, I'm
All
ready.
right. Yes. Hey, I have taken on the task of writing the battle for today. I'm a little bit proud of it. Hopefully you guys enjoy it. So here we go. We start with a close-up on the Coliseum's concession stand. Today's special, Haribo Twin Snakes Gummy Candy, which I think is really funny because earlier Eli said the thing about Siamese Tsuchinokos coming out of the woods. So, Haribo Twin Snakes Gummy Candy. The enthused audience members hurry to take their seats, gelatinous reptile snacks in hand. The time has come. The gate opens, and tail in mouth, the Tsuchinoko rolls in. It takes a lap around the Coliseum, being sure to show off its vibrant underside. It uncoils itself as it prepares to face its opponent. Next to enter the Coliseum, the victor of a previous battle. But the gate doesn't open. Instead, the ground rumbles and the dirt rises as our competitor breaks from below the surface. It is the Mongolian deathworm.
Again? Whoa.
Right?
No.
Riding the
Whoa.
high from its defeat of the Tatzelworm, the Mongolian deathworm emits an electric charge, lighting up the sky for the enthralled fans in the stands. The Tsuchinoko lets out a battle cry, a song of chirps, snarls, and growls. And is that a human voice we hear, taunting the deathworm with fighting words? The Tsuchinoko springs into the air, double jumping its way across the Colosseum on a direct path towards the deathworm. The deathworm throws what we assume to be its head back, winding up for a venomous release. A young boy in the audience lifts a gummy to his mouth, but then his eyes go wide. The candy falls to the floor. And we ask you, what did this young boy just witness? Will the Mongolian deathworm claim another victory, or will the Tsuchinoko take the throne?
That was awesome.
So let us know, everybody, in our Instagram post who you think the winner would be of the Tsuchinoko versus the Mongolian deathworm. The Mongolian deathworm made a return today because you guys voted that he would win against the Tatzelworm. So let us know.
Woohoo.
Let us know if he's going to continue on or if he's met his match.
Dang, dude, that would be crazy to do like March Madness, but with cryptids. Oh, dude, it'd be
Yeah.
fire.
You know what's
Wait.
about this battle is the fact that both of these things are like between 2 and 5 feet long. So like you picture like a giant worm coming out of the ground, but really it's just like the size of a regular snake. And like if there were screens in the Coliseum, the camera's like super zoomed in, and you can't see anything if you're up in the nosebleeds, and it's whatever.
I mean, my favorite thing now is that the Cryptid Coliseum has a concession stand.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. Right?
That's awesome. The snackies are now flowing. Now we can get sponsorship from Dr. Pepper.
Dr. Pecker.
Ha! Yeah, congratulations, Jasmine. That was an awesome cryptid battle. We want to know who you guys think will win.
Yes.
And,
And if you want to find out about the people who make these cryptid Coliseum battles happen, we're going to go around this little virtual campfire here. And so, Alex, how do I find you?
Well, if you want to find me online, you can find me at Instagram and Twitter at AlexDaiKaiju. That's Alex, DAIKAIJU. I post a lot of monster and cryptid art on my Instagram, so be sure to check that out. And, well, you know, it's crazy to think. This year's been a little nuts, 2020. You know, each month's brought something a little wackier, a little crazier to deal with. And the next month, I'm afraid, will bring mummies.
Oh God.
But I'm not afraid, because I know I have Jasmine May with to rely on for knowledge to battle them. And where can I find you online for this knowledge?
You can find me on Twitter and Instagram as well. My name is the same on both, JasmineMaewithh. And my source today, which I have to scroll all the way back up on my notes to find because I didn't paste them at the bottom like I used to. My research today came from Mysterious Universe, Daily Dot, Thought Catalog, Crypto Zoo News, The Big Smoke Australia, Japan Times, and Happy Serpent.
Ooh. And I would be remiss, I forgot to mention my sources. I use Thought Catalog, AncientPages.com, and Bulbapedia, the official or the best Pokemon online Wikipedia you could find.
Nice.
And finally, you know, the Tsuchinoko, you know, he's got a lot of popularity. He's been a meme. He brings a lot to the table. And so the last thing I can say is, oh shit, here come that boy, Eli Watson.
What? So, you can find me at the Eli Watson on Instagram. Yep.
Ooh.
Today's sources come from the Cryptid Wiki, Regular Wiki, Japan Times, Thought Catalog, snakefacts.weebly.com, and happyserpent.com. Yeah, I know. I really like those last two websites. Are they accurate? I don't know. But that's what I got.
Hell.
Yeah, I especially like Snake Facts. That's a good name, dude.
Yeah.
Anyways, if you are interested in following the Campfire, you can follow at Cryptid Campfire, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. We're on all the social medias, if you will. You can even go to our official website, cryptidcampfire.com, where you can get your official Cryptid Campfire t-shirt with more coming soon. And you can even go to our Patreon, where for $5 a month, you get access to exclusive episodes and early access to episodes, along with, exclusive images and videos.
Woohoo.
Thank you, everyone.
Yeah.
And to all a good night.
Woohoo.
Thanks for listening, guys. See you next week.
Bye.
This podcast is a part of Straight Up Strange Productions. Discover more shows like this one at straightupstrange.com.